So we're being asked to rewrite this expression as a polynomial in standard form. So when I look at this, the first thing I want to look at is inside the parentheses, can I simplify this? Are there any like terms there? And the answer is no, there's not, because they have to have the same variable with the same exponent. So this has an x squared, this has an x, this doesn't have an x at all. So you can't do anything with that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to multiply the 1/3 x into the parentheses. So we're going to distribute. So we're going to take this 1/3 x and I'm going to multiply it times 6x squared. And I'm also going to multiply it times 3x. And I'm going to multiply it times 12. So some students get confused by this because they say, well, you just said these aren't like terms. Well, you can multiply unlike terms. You just can't add them or subtract them. So you can multiply them and divide them, but you can't add or subtract them. So I'm just going to write this out long ways. So I'm taking the 1/3 x, so 1/3 x. So you don't have to write all this out. And then I'm multiplying that times the 6x squared. And then I have minus, and then I'm going to take the 1/3 x and multiply it times the 3x, and then plus 1/3 times the 12. So I'm just taking all of the terms inside of the parentheses, these three terms, and I'm multiplying each of those three terms by 1/3 x, what's outside the parentheses. Okay, so when we multiply these together, we can multiply them. We're going to multiply the numbers together. So we're going to multiply the 1/3 and the 6. And then for the x's, when you multiply a power times a power and they have the same base, which these do, they're both x, then you just add the exponents. And so one thing you got to remember is if you have a variable without an exponent, it's really got an exponent of 1. So there's an exponent of 1 here. These both have an exponent of 1. And this one has an exponent of 1, although that one's not going to matter so much. So if I start with the first group here, 1/3 times 6 is 2. X times x to the second, you add the exponent, so that's x to the third. I go to the next group, 1/3 times 3 is 1. You don't really, I'll write the 1 for now. Let's write it, but you don't need to. And then x times x, I add the exponents and I get x to the second. And then I have a plus sign. And then 1/3 x times 12. So 1/3 times 12 is 4. And then I just have the x there. And then if you get rid of the 1, then you'll see it matches one of the answers here. So I get rid of that 1. And just to quickly point out, it said write your answer in standard form. So in standard form, you have whatever the highest exponent is first, and then it decreases. So we go from an exponent of 3 to 2 to 1. So that's in standard form. So there you go. So keep working hard, and you will master the math.